Back in 1972, this is what I was asked to do about the 1972 flood. Somebody asked me to do about the flood, and these buildings were just got done, and they used these buildings right here probably for the people who were stranded and lost their homes in the flood. And here on North Jones Street, because they ripped down all the buildings and that was here and put these buildings in. This is Probst Plaza. The other buildings on top of the hill just got done. Just was getting done too. But I'm just gonna take you out where it flooded, where I seen pictures of and know of, and where I'm walking it wasn't flooded at, but I would say probably where that Jeep is down there, right below that Jeep, maybe halfway in between that parking lot, and might have been right at the bumper of the Jeep. That's where this alley would have been flooded. The rest of the alley would have been flooded the whole way. So, and that was Stone Alley. But here on Belfont Avenue, I'm heading out to it right now. The one's up by the housing office up there probably was used because that was done around that time too. So, Carter Towers were still being built at the time. That was done in 1973 or 74. That would have been these building there. But right, I would say, figures. Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. Right where I'm standing, you see all these cars right here that's going by? Right where I'm standing, it would be the 1972 flood, where people would be shipped to by boat to this area, and then taken to places that people would be able to keep out of the flood for a few days, because yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen. Yeah. All right, well, this is where it would have been, right below my feet, where people would be getting wet. That would be the pictures I've seen anyway. I'm on the opposite side now, and right over there where that car's at, that's where the water would have been. Here on South Jones Street, some of it did get flooded, but I have to walk a distance so I can get there. Some people don't have to yell and scream here. I wouldn't be able to talk. So that's why I'm picking my voice up a little bit, because they're yelling on the porch. They don't know they're doing it. Over there at the towers over there. Just was hoping they... Alright. Here at this alley, James Alley, that entire Wise building would have been under about maybe 2 to 1 foot of water. But I'm going up here now. Once I get down where it flooded down there, here in South Jones Street, I'll show you. Yeah, the reason why South Jones Street flooded, you can see it's going downhill. Right where I'm located, they didn't get flooded at right now. Oh, I finally clean this area right there up. Okay. Here at Bald Eagle Street, it would have been, the water would have been probably right here, right there at the alley right there. That would have been the location of it. That would have been about there and maybe a little further up, but that's the reason why South Jones Street, way down at the end here, got flooded. But I just tell you, I'm not even going to go too much further down here. This location right here, the water 72 flood would have been right about in this section where I'm walking right now. So the flooding is about ready to begin over here at South Jones Street. This area was a little bit back then. Right? Would have been a little bit back then where I'm walking. And then it goes up a little bit. If you can see off to the side, out here in the middle of the road, it goes up a little bit. But this area would have been, in this little dip right here, would have been underwater, but it goes up a little bit, and that right after it goes up a little bit, it goes down, and once it gets down to Peach Street, just a little bit before Peach Street and I wouldn't have been able to walk through there because the paper company was both of the paper companies back then was under the water. The Castanea Paper Company and Lock Haven Paper Company at that time, I think. So I'm not going too much further. I'm gonna leave you know there's a lot. Figure that. I'm on the road, and that's when the car comes. Another one coming too. All right, well, I'll go to another section of the area that did get flooded. Okay, where I'm located right now would have been underwater, the 72 flood. And this wasn't built here. This would have been a former Kepar Plaza where I'm located, and the bypass wasn't completely done yet, so that it wasn't even thought of at that time, because Pine Street ended up underwater, and half of Pine Street's pretty much underneath the bypass there. So where I would be sitting would be about 10 to 15 feet of water in this area, from both the Bald Eagle and the West Branch of the Susquehanna would be both in here causing trouble. But really what caused the trouble back then, the most damage, was the motorboats going through. Instead of going slow, they went too fast, and they broke out the windows in the middle of the city. And you know how much expensive the windows are, and the wake of the water didn't help either. So the water was pretty well pressurized. Since this is almost like a peninsula where Lock Haven is, although it's what the Indians once said to people, this land is the land between two rivers. Well, that is the truth. Even though we call one a stream, back then that would have been almost like a river, because the water is slowed down now because of the dam up at the Bald Eagle State Park. That was built in 1973. That was built fast after the 72 flood hit. So a lot of the stuff up there got swamped under because of that. You had a flood here, then you end up the next year have a flood up there up in Howard. Howard pretty much was under, kind of, a lot of them where the dam was pretty much underwater too. So here, this was underwater clear to the other end of the island route. The two bridges that went to the island route was both wiped out. So that means, yeah, the airport was pretty much underwater too. So I'm gonna, oh, got a bird above our head. That doesn't make sense. It seems like Noah looked up in the sky and there's a bird. Oh, land nearby. All right, now I'm gonna head over to the next spot. St. Agnes there, Dorn Agnes. It was flooded too. There's pictures of it having the part in the back up halfway up over the steps. So it was like about 11, maybe 12 feet of water in that area. All right, well, off to the next. There is many pictures out there of the flood. A lot of them you can look at at the library. But if you want to look at some of the stuff up, go check out the Clinton County Historical Society, which is at the Heisey Museum area when they're open. And explore the museum while you're at it too. Pay the price and see what history you can explore. I'm here at the railroad track. This would have been about maybe a foot, maybe two underwater. But down that way, some of it would have been underwater too. Both ways. But when you get down towards Castanea area, on the one side, so down back that way, it would have been underwater most of the way, both ways, because it goes right along the river. So most of it would have been about 5 feet underwater here because as the track is elevated, but the trains would not have been able to get through here. They would have had to find a different ways around. Besides, at that time, Danville had a situation which wasn't that great down there, as one of the bridges collapsed with a train on it. But the train services was down. The only thing we could get you around was helicopter in most cases, and speedboats and boats. That people that was good at rowing and stuff. See, this street I'm on is Vesper Street. Definitely was underwater because we didn't have no dike levee at the time. That wasn't completely built to 92. The 93 was I think was the grand opening of it. Because it started building it at 91, I think they did. Wasn't completely built to 93, but a lot of it was already built. Different areas had to haul in a lot more stones, and where they got the stones was in the mountains. Yeah, you can 10 trucks at a time coming down from wherever they was coming from, dropping off debris, stone, and all that. I mean, debris means. Might have had some wood and stuff they might have had to take out before they put it on there. They usually try to clean the best out of there, but you can't get it all. Alright. Yes, a lot of these places were open at that time. Day or two before, they probably had people eating here at the Eagle Motel here, which does have a light in it. You can see that up there. Which and people stay in there too. No, probably every one of these places had to get taken out of this area in Lock Haven. Off to the next area. I'm here on East Main Street. Back in 1972, the water would have been about 10 feet in the area, but it would have lowered before the boats got on here, so it would have been about 3/4 of the way up these windows here. The fellows, they're going out of business, and we have this sweet. It is what it is, sweet shop. And there is a lot of pictures about Main Street, but I haven't seen much for Church Street. West and East Church, I didn't see much on them. But when I get to the next one, there is a lot on the next street, and there'd be a lot over there, because that's where the main water hit, and that would have been on both West and East Water Street. So right now, there's a picture online about right down at the end there. Somebody right around this area where I'm located. It kind of looked like my uncle cleaning up the mud afterwards. It was like 2 to 3 feet of mud, gas, oil, and human waste. They were cleaning up back then. I wouldn't want to be cleaning up what they had to clean up back then. All right, well, you can see the city is not bad at all. Not bad. They did have concrete bricks, concrete stone like over there at one time too, the whole way through here, instead of this walkway like they have. It's not true brick, so it's fancy design. Hello again. I'm back. Gonna have a leaky bag. I put a bottle in there and I thought the cap was on tight and it leaked through it. It's gonna be leaking for a little bit. People's going, your bag's leaking. Yeah, I know that. All right, I'm back. What do you expect? I'm talking about flooding and my bag's leaking. Clearly, if you can see it dripping, you can see red soda coming out of there. Probably pretty much what the water would be like. See, where I'm at, I would be under about 15, maybe 16 or 17 feet of water. And the water would have been roaring through this town when it happened here on West Water Street here. Somebody, as I said, they asked me to go do the flooding. Pretty much the whole entire city was underwater. So all I have to do is go through the streets. And right up here's the dike levee where they moved the beach here in July, the 22nd, I think. Yeah, I have to have somebody coming up over. Yeah, I'm here at the William F. Cleaner River Walk. Just put in one of those things that saved the 19th from the floods. Yeah, they ripped down a few houses in this area. And there used to be a house right there. If you can see the foundation where that shed in the trailer is, an outer trailer. I put this in. This right here used to go straight down into the river. It used to go right down in. It was another area to put your boat in. Nobody swimming today, and it's nice and warm. All right, where I'm at, it would be underwater on both sides. In fact, the river would have been flowing right underneath my feet. When they were building the dike levee, they pushed it over that way a little bit. In fact, down here is pretty much as far as I'm going. In fact, I'm not even going to go that far. I'm just going to go into this. The metal bridge was there at the time when the 72 flood hit. It made it through the 72 flood. And in 88, it's either 87 or 88, they boiled out of the water. Then they made the bridge there. By 1990, the bridge was being run. Didn't take them that long to build the bridge. Didn't take 2 years. It only took them maybe a year. In the past, it would take them 2 years. But they made a metal bridge back then, 1919, and the bridge was up by 1921. But everybody, the one that asked me said where everything flooded. Pretty much the entire area of Lockport was underwater, all the way clear around the bend. All was underwater. Even a lot of Ferensville and Queens Run, they were underwater. So you were asking me what was underwater. So there's only a couple spots. Good thing we have Bellefonte Avenue, because if you didn't have the Bellefonte Hill over there, Bellefonte Avenue Hill and stuff, you would find out they wouldn't be underwater. Because otherwise that area would have been underwater. Flemington wasn't, but some areas did have to have the basement pumped. So you asked me where the flood went. Pretty much everywhere between the two rivers. The reason why I'm not walking down to the airport, I would have to walk where it wasn't flooded down this way. I would have had to walk clear down to almost Avis, because almost everything down that way was underwater between the rivers and the island. The island was under about 15 to 20 feet of water down there. The people on there, after they were done, they were digging out the basements too down there, digging them out. The whole entire basement was clogged up with mud. As for the ones that didn't go underwater, that would be Castanea, Flemington, and Dunnstown. Castanea a little bit where they used to have a ball field at, and yes, the lower half of Castanea, that's between the river and that, Castanea Township anyhow, but not Castanea Village, or what they call census, populous census, whatever. I can't get the whole thing out, but Flemington didn't go underwater except for part of it that's between the metal bridge and the canal. The canal definitely was underwater. Dunnstown, if that got underwater, everybody would have been drowned, because they're way up there. They have that extra bank. So they didn't go underwater because that was up there, because they were up there in the range where it wouldn't got flooded at. Would have had to hit another, I guess, another 6 or 7 feet for it to go underwater, except for maybe a lower along the river. The whole Great Island was underwater, as I just already said. You could clear down when you start going up the hill there. That was slightly underwater, but not too much. Down there on Great Island route down at the end there. Those houses and farms, yeah, they were definitely underwater. I probably had more houses down there back then. Yeah, I'm on Water Street right now. All right, next, just taking a break in the shade. Next will be up near the college. How about some some big mushrooms here on Water Street, right across from Millionaire Row. I'll talk about that later, which was underwater too. Yeah, this place right here where I'm at, there is pictures of churches underwater during the 72 flood, and this is one of them. I don't think the school was built at that time, but not sure. All right. But, well, I mean, maybe with the Millionaire Row. It is a warm day, but it's not. I'm gonna say it's like in the 80s. In the shade, it's a little bit cooler. And we have somebody praying at the IHS. Yeah, the sun went behind the clouds, so I can see a little bit better, and it's not that warm when it's doing that. And they put a new playground in, and a place to play basketball for them. They also put a new gym at the end down there. But next, up to the next. One thing I was hoping when they were putting this dike levee in, they should have made it expanded a little further out, so you could see around this corner here on West Water Street. Yeah, but they didn't. You can't hardly see around the corner when you're here at North 4th Street. But and as for this, I would be drowning where I'm at. Boom Island was completely underwater, and you can see the trees on Boom Island up there right now on top of the dike, over top of the dike levee. At that time, I think you could jump off Peter's steps at that time into the water. As I'm saying, I'm not going to walk the whole way around the complete town to get to where all it was flooded at. I'm going to show you a couple of places where it wasn't in a few minutes here. I'll be back on 4th Street, probably the last I'll be filming, because there's a place on 4th Street that probably did get flooded there, and it's unusual. But that'd be the last place. But first, I'm going the way I'm heading towards the university. If you can see the gym down there, that'd be where the high school was at the time. And also the library, the Ross Library. They both lost books during that time. Oh, that's nice, a hearse going by. They both lost tons and tons of books. See, the library was in the basement at that time, and there's pictures of them drying out the books in a magazine in 1972 flood. So, and the Ross Library lost a lot too. We lost a lot of history back then. It's a lot of newspapers. If you guys have newspapers and stuff from back then, check to see if the library has them. If you don't want them around your house, drop them off there. If they tell them what if it's a Clinton County Democrat or the Republican, and if they don't have it, I think they'll probably accept it. All right, well, we're going up this direction now. Next stop, I'll be right before the university and then at the university. As I said, the library, both of them libraries in the school, all three of the libraries, even the junior high, all lost books. So if you, and all books and papers, newspapers, if you have any, check to see if the library has them. The Ross Library has them, okay? And they might gladly accept them. Next stop, as I said, up the road. I did this. If it's the second time on there, it's because I thought I didn't say anything. I thought I didn't turn the video on. But next stop, 2 places. This isn't a stop, but I forgot to say something about Boom Island. All the trees was on the Boom Island was all wiped out. All of them except for maybe one at the end. Here on Water Street, there was businesses at the time. Here at that small island, what you call the island, Rhode Island. I'll just say that's probably where they got the name, but no, Rhodes is the name of somebody's last name. That island there, they were right across here where there's a lot of businesses, and they all got flooded out. They pretty much came back later, but wasn't the same business after that, except for maybe the garage that was next door to it. But all this where I'm located was underwater. All these buildings up to about 10, 12, maybe 15 feet. Coming around this bend might have got a little bit higher, maybe up to 20. But the river rose up to 32 feet that day. It depends on which way the water went, and how swift the water was, and how the eddies and stuff in there caused more damage. But I'm gonna head over here, across this road over here, and next stop, College. Also, 6th Street right here, where that building was, used to go up to Fairview Street there. They built that building afterwards, the college did, and took over the street, and also the parking lot. This building and these buildings down here at the parking lot here, if they were there at the time, they would have been underwater. But not too much underwater. I think this one was here, but only the lower half got a little bit of water in. Since it was up here after the bend, the water didn't come up this far. It might have had a wave or maybe a 2 hit the building. But where I'm located at, the tennis courts was underwater, and the lower part of that building, the second building over, this is the new building that wasn't there. So right about where I'm located is where the water here on East Water Street stopped. Right here is where the water stopped. So the university had a lot of places for people to camp out at, because the university did not get hit. So except for the lower half of this Richard Parsons Student Union building, if that was the name of it back then. They changed the names left and right up here. Back then, anyhow. So right now, I would be walking up here, and if there was any, probably would be helping people to get to the dormitories. Even the ones that they tore down was up at that time on top of the hill. So we'd have people coming up here to go to stay for a while. The university helped out because it was a flood. So next stop, 1 or 2 more places. I think that'll be the end of the video. Library here probably loaned the books. Probably loaned some books down there until they got their own books back at the libraries. The high school and the junior high and the Ross. Probably if they had doubles, probably. I'm just giving you a nice view of the university right here. From where the university is, over the Peters Steps. any other hill, and it turns into a building. Well, I'll be right back. If you can see it, we have a helicopter going over. Fitting, the helicopter goes over while doing a flood video. That's the only way that people could get around back then. What people seen back then, they seen now. The Bald Eagle Mountains with the bald spots on the mountain. But you didn't have the antennas up there, maybe one. You see the parking space? That would have been McGee School playground and tennis courts and basketball courts. You see it there? They all would have been underwater. McGee School? No. Where I'm located is where the old chair factory used to be. This is one of the halls now, one of the dormitories that was they built afterwards, the college. But now I'm gonna go down the way they built out the back door. And the main reason why I'm going this way, you see that some of the lights are missing, but I'm gonna go down the steep hill here. I'm not gonna go down the whole way. See, right here would be the road and the swing sets. Would have been right there. How I know? I played ball there. Played ball. Used to have a baseball field there too. Played ball, kickball. Rode down the slide, fall off the slide, jump out of the swings. Yep. We didn't do any dangerous things back then. But that would have been flooded. And the noise is coming from that building over there. This right here would have been some of that building would have been underwater. I don't think that building was there. I think that was back then, but it might have been. Whoop, looks like they have a sinkhole over here. And I'm going through this way. Yep, talking about water. We have a sinkhole right here. Okay, right here would have been where I'm at right now. Would have been the steps right there to come in from the playground. Go into the back door. Well, you would have had to come this way to the back door, and right here would have been McGee School. And because of up on the hill here, they didn't get flooded. But I'm not done yet the flooding, so yes, the football field and the baseball field all got flooded. But I'll show you why. Show you something a little bit here. I'm going to sit down, take a small break. If you take a look a little close to the back, you can see the steps over there, which went up to the road that used to go out back there. And then you could walk up to Fairview Street. But you also can see the, if you look really closely, you can see a pathway, which was part of the back where they used to bring in the food for the food and the books and other stuff for the teachers and stuff. The park and stuff. There used to be there wasn't no park back there. The park was off to behind me. But you can see where the part of that was right along the side, the undergrowth. Yeah, these employees use these steps to climb up. And this used to be the steps to go up into the other side door in the mcghee school. And you can see the old right here, the old the stuff for the to go into the school. There used to be something there at the end. I forgot what it was. But I'm going to head over this way. I know I was doing about the flooding and stuff, but right here is the driveway going in, and you can see that old fence. It's been there since the school was here. Oh, some lilac or lavender, one of the two. This right here, this road was here too. But all right, well, I'm over here at 4th Street, which this is 4th Street. Once you get across the tracks, it's North 4th Street. So, all right, here's 4th Street. It would have been flooded right down here, slightly right there where the parking space is. That house right there might have had a swimming pool out in front of the front door. But don't mean these houses up here didn't get flooded, because as much rain that came down, as it got flooded. Because last year, that old church right there got flooded. So, all right, well, that's the last of the 72 flood video. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a good day.